That's right, you will get 8 weeks of payroll paid by the government in return for a maximum of 4% interest. No principal. This is huge. Hey guys, I hope everyone is doing as well as possible considering how strange the current business landscape is. But if you've got your health and your family's health and your friends' health, then that's plenty to be thankful for. This video is going to be a little different than my other videos, no flashy editing or anything like that. I want to get this information out as quickly as possible, so I'm filming this the same day I got it together. If you know of any small business owners or employees, please send this video to them. The loans in this video even apply for independent contractors and self-employed individuals, so if you know of anybody who makes a living freelancing, there's a lot of useful information in here. There's a lot of hearsay flying around about these loans right now, and getting the right information to the right people is going to be extremely important in a time like this. If you're new around here, my name is Ross, and I'm a project manager at a small construction company. You can check out my other videos if you're into leadership, business, or management topics, but this video is meant to get business owners, operators, managers, employees, any small business stakeholder. We need to get them the right information that we all need to know right now. Down to the meat and potatoes, this video will be broken into a few sections. I'll timestamp all these in the comments below, so please feel free to jump around to whichever section is most important for you right now. The sections are: what is the CARES Act? What is the Paycheck Protection Program? Who can borrow? What you can use the loan for? Loan terms and applications? Loan forgiveness? How to file? And lastly, a little summary and my thoughts that I've had through researching this. I will refer to a few websites and resources throughout this video, and you will find those all linked in the description down below, so please check that out. Here's your disclaimer. I'm not an accountant, I'm not a financial advisor, and this isn't financial advice. You have to do your own research before making financial decisions for you or your business. That said, let's get into it. What is the CARES Act? First off, what is the CARES Act? Recently, Congress passed and the President signed into law the Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Security Act, also known as the CARES Act, which provides the Small Business Administration extra loan authority for small businesses. What is the Paycheck Protection Program? In order to protect small businesses from the current economic uncertainty, the CARES Act created the Paycheck Protection Program. This is a pool of $349 billion that will be made available via loans to qualifying small businesses in the United States. Small businesses can take out loans from the Paycheck Protection Program to cover costs during the coronavirus pandemic, and loan forgiveness should ensure that your small business will get at least 8 weeks of payroll covered by the government, only at a cost of a maximum of 4% interest. That's right. If you apply for loan forgiveness, you can provide your employees with 8 weeks of payroll in return for no principal payments, only a max of 4% interest. All current lenders for the Small Business Administration will be able to participate in the Paycheck Protection Program. For questions and small business resources, click on the SBA.gov link in the video description. Who can borrow? This is huge. The Paycheck Protection Program applies for all entities like corporations, LLCs, and partnerships, sole proprietorships, independent contractors, and self-employed individuals, as long as they meet the following criteria. The following is a list of who can borrow from the Paycheck Protection Program: public and private nonprofits, small businesses with 500 employees or less. If a small business has more than one physical location, it can borrow as long as they have less than 500 employees and meet industry and gross annual receipts limitations. The SBA website has a list of rules that apply mostly to restaurants, bars, food services, hospitality, and travel companies. Again, that is when those companies have more than one physical location. The rules of the Paycheck Protection Program also apply to businesses operating as a franchise. If they fit the criteria, they can apply. What you can use the loan for. Loans under the Paycheck Protection Program can be used for the following: normal SBA loan uses such as real estate, working capital, or equipment costs. But now, loans under the Paycheck Protection Program actually have a much wider use than your typical SBA loan. So the following are uses specific to this Paycheck Protection Program money. These are rent, including lease payments, utilities, payments of interest on mortgages. The money is not able to be applied to principal payments, however. Interest on any other debt obligations incurred before February 15th, 2020. Here's the big one. Employee costs, salaries, commissions, tips, and similar compensation up to $100,000 per employee on an annual basis, or $45,000 per employee during the covered period. So that is up to $45,000 per employee between February 15th, 2020 and June 30th, 2020. Payments for vacation, parental, family, medical, or sick leave. Allowance for dismissal or separation. This means that severance pay is covered. Payment required for group healthcare benefits, including insurance premiums. Payment of retirement benefits. Payment of state and local tax assessed on the compensation of employees. The following is a list of what the Paycheck Protection Program money cannot be applied to. Compensation of employees whose primary residence is outside of the United States. And it cannot be applied to wages which are credited under the Families First Coronavirus Response Act, which is a different program by the Department of Labor. You can find information about the Families First Coronavirus Response Act at the dol.gov link in the description. Loan terms and applications. So what are the terms and applications of the Paycheck Protection Program loans? I think these are really great. The loans are non-recourse and fee-free. This means that these loans are unsecured, which means that you are not putting up any collateral for them. The borrower can receive loans from the Paycheck Protection Program even if they've been rejected by other lenders. Personal guarantees are not required. The interest rate for Paycheck Protection loans will not exceed 4%. The loans have a maximum maturity date of 10 years and can be forgiven under certain circumstances, which we'll be getting to in a minute. The current terms of the loan are a maturity of 2 years and an interest rate of 0.5%, though as I mentioned before, the interest rate and maturity date can change, up to 4% and up to 10 years. The maximum loan amount is determined by formula based on average total monthly payments for payroll costs incurred during the year leading up to the date on which the loan originates. That is then multiplied by 2.5. For a maximum of $10 million. So to simplify this, you're taking an average month of payroll from 2019 and multiplying it by 2.5, which means you can receive up to 2.5 months or 10 weeks of payroll, 8 weeks of which can be forgiven. That's your maximum loan amount. Loan forgiveness. This is where this program becomes very powerful. This is where this goes from a typical loan to a saving grace for small businesses during this very uncertain time. First off, only the loan principal can be forgiven. The interest cannot be forgiven. You will have to file for loan forgiveness, which is a process that includes the submission of documentation verifying the number of full-time employees on payroll and associated pay rates, including federal and state payroll tax filings and unemployment insurance filing. Documentation verifying payments of leased obligations, mortgages, and utilities. Certification that amounts to be forgiven were for Paycheck Protection Program uses. Borrowers need to file for loan forgiveness within 60 days of the loan application, and lenders will have to decide before those 60 days are up whether to accept or not. The loan forgiveness is based entirely around the 8 weeks happening immediately after the date of the origination of the loan. The amount of principal that can be forgiven is the sum of the following items that you incur in the 8 weeks after the date of the origination of the loan. It's the sum of rent payments, payroll costs, any payment of interest on a mortgage but you can't prepay future interest, and utility payments. So this means if you file for the Paycheck Protection Program and subsequently file for forgiveness, you will get 8 weeks of payroll paid by the government in return for a maximum of 4% interest. No principal. How to file for the Paycheck Protection Program. Now there's $349 billion of loan money in the Paycheck Protection Program, and the way small businesses access that money is to file through a lender certified by the Small Business Administration. In the description of this video is a link to a list of the 100 most active SBA lenders, though you should also check with any of your existing banking contacts. Many local banks are SBA lenders, and you may already have everything you need at a bank you already use. In the description of this video is a link to download a PDF sample of the Paycheck Protection Program application that you will need to fill out in order to complete the process. You might want to look this over to familiarize yourself with it. In order to apply for the loan, you will need to provide the following. Small businesses will have to provide payroll tax filings, IRS Form 1099s that your business has issued. For a sole proprietorship, you must provide income and expense documentation as determined by some of the finer rules of the program. Lastly, the borrower must certify in good faith that the loan request is necessary to support ongoing operations due to uncertainty caused by current crises. The borrower must certify that the funds will be used for specific purposes covered by the allowed uses of a typical SBA loan or the Paycheck Protection Program rules. And the borrower must certify that there are no duplicate loan applications for the same purpose. Quick summary. The Paycheck Protection Program will loan small businesses up to 10 weeks of average payroll based off of the payroll of 2019, and 8 weeks of that payroll can be forgiven. As I did the research for this video, I had some thoughts about the program, the first of which being to plan your 8 weeks. This is all about the 8 weeks after the loan origination date. You're going to want to plan which expenses you will apply the loan money towards, obviously keeping in mind which of those expenses are eligible for forgiveness. Another thought I had was to document everything regarding this loan. If you're planning on using any of this loan money, you want to document all purchases and payments made with it. Once we emerge on the other side of this thing and the dust settles, who knows, there could very well be audits to ensure that the money was spent properly. Either way, it can't hurt you to thoroughly document all paperwork related to this loan. Lastly, there's a lot up in the air about this loan. Lots of details aren't known yet, and this isn't because of problems of hearsay, but because it's being developed as it rolls out. Lenders and small businesses are all learning about the Paycheck Protection Program as it happens, so the best method will be to reach out to your SBA lender and speak with one of their loan officers. That person will be your go-to throughout the whole process. If you found this video to be helpful, please share it with a friend who could use the information as well. Please like and subscribe to my channel for more leadership, business, and management videos. Stay safe, guys, and I will see you in the next one.